Hello, and welcome to today's Christian Women. I'm your host, Reverend Kerrene Covington. I'm glad that you are with us today. Again, we're in Southeast Michigan, suburb of Detroit, and today we have a very special guest with us, Barbara Dean Franklin.
Thank you.
I'm
to
glad
be-
that you could join us.
I am honored to be here, Pastor.
It is not every day that I get to speak to someone that actually travels around doing business, real business.
Real business.
Real business. So you do work for the telephone company,
Yes.
something everyone has heard of, no matter what part of the country or world you're in, AT&T.
Yes,
Our favorite long distance company, dare I say,
Yes.
among other things.
most definitely.
But let's start off a little bit by what you do with AT&T.
Okay, with AT&T, I am the area manager over the service management group. My team handles medical customers, and right now I have charge over the states of North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, Florida, and I will be picking up the medical hospitals in Michigan. We handle large accounts over $1 million customers.
Wow. How did you get into that?
Only by the grace of God. I've been with AT&T, well, when we were Michigan Bell since I was 19 years old. I hired in with the company. I was promoted to area manager in 2005. I had a billing center, and my boss at that time, she asked me if I wanted to handle the service management department because it's really customer service, and that's what I do. That's my, my passion is serving our customers and my team. And I was handling Michigan. I had the entire state of Michigan, and then there was some movement, and I got the Southeast states. So, and I always said I wanted to retire. I wanted to retire either in Florida or North Carolina. So I just felt like that was God moving, because He put me in charge of those states. So.
So which one have you chosen?
Well, I'm still going back between North Carolina and Florida. Not sure yet, but it's closer than it's ever been.
Okay. Did you work your way up in the company? You said that you started off doing what?
I started off like I was 19 years old, and it was then called the DCL, which was the daily completion log. And when we would complete orders, I would have stacks and stacks of 10-ply copies that I would have to pull apart and then shuffle them, and we would send them to the different departments. That's when we had paper. So I was the DCL clerk, but I was going to be the best DCL clerk. So I would time myself every day shuffling those orders. Got good at that, learned something else about how to route the technicians, sending them out to the field, dispatching them. So when I started with the company, and I started at the Oakman and Woodrow Wilson, where the big bell is over down the Davidson. So I started with the company, and I work with a great group of women, and we call ourselves now the Townsend Divas. We still keep in touch with each other, and they taught me how to work. They taught me the importance of doing that job, and not just doing that job, but learning all the other jobs that were in that office. And
I think this is important because you started at 19. Were you the youngest in the office?
I believe that I was. I was there with another young lady. She's only a year older than me, and 36 years. We're still friends to this day. She's a part of the organization, Women in Power Crossing Paths, Joanne Roberts. So, like I said, she was a little bit older, but everybody else were older and mature women. As a matter of fact, my girlfriend Janice, when we first started, I would say, "You're 30, you half a 60, And so she said, "I hope I'm living when you're 40 or 30 years old."
So you can see how that feels.
Exactly. We're still friends today. So I just made the speed limit this year, 55. So
Does she bring that up to
most
you?
definitely.
I
Yes.
can't blame her for doing that.
Most definitely.
So you stayed friends with these women. Did they take you under their wing and kind of teach you the ropes of business and what it was about?
Yeah, they really during that time, we have what's called assignment. So, and then we had what was called left in, because we actually used to go out and pick up telephones back in the day. When we had the design line telephones,
Oh,
the
wow.
little Mickey Mouse and the phones in the box and different things like that. So I had one young lady, Rose Moses, who was the left in clerk, and she was real good at what she did. I wanted to make sure that I learned her job. At Annie and T, they were assigners. So when you're out in the field, you have cable in pairs. That's how you hook up your telephones. Your telephones work on a specific cable, 32 cable pair, 544 or whatever. That's how the technicians know what the cable and pair is. And then you had the router, and the router was the person who put the orders in a little cubby hole. And what we did was we would send the technicians out, and we tried not to give them a milkman route. So I tried to be strategic in making sure if they were in Townsend or if they were in university, that I got the houses, the blocks, back to back to back. So I became very good at what I did. And
I imagine you were very loved too,
almost.
just because of that alone.
Yes,
I don't have to travel here and
exactly.
here and here and then get back to here. That's great.
Exactly, yes.
Now, I'm asking these questions about your business because we have young women or middle-aged women that are in the workforce, and they need to know how to move up in their company or whatever they're doing. And having started at 19 and the position that you currently hold,
Yes.
that's quite an expanse,
Yes,
quite
yes, it is.
amazing, actually. What would you advise these women to do?
I would advise them to give good customer service. It is all about, the customer. Internal, they're your customers. External, they're your customers. At some point, your boss is your customer. So you have to really enjoy what you do, not take it personal, and have an attitude of gratitude. You understand? You have to go in there and do your job to the best of your ability. I heard you guys talking earlier. If you're the janitor, be the very best janitor that you can be, whatever that position is. If you do it to the very best of your ability, people will recognize you and seek you out for, your expertise in that area. And then it's really funny if I can tell you about how I was promoted to second level, because at
Please
that time,
do.
my boss at that time, she promoted me to first level, and she was looking for an area manager to handle the Detroit Billing Center. And so she came in and she was doing a skip level interview with all of the managers' teams in that office. And so she interviewed 6 teams. But at that time, she needed a senior manager. So she interviewed the first team. They came in, they complained, they talked about what, their boss did or did not do. The second team, it was the same thing. Third team. Well, by the time she got to my team, she said, okay, come on in, guys. Tell me, what it is that you're going through. And they say, hey, we don't talk about it, we be about it. If our customers call us and they're calling for Detroit Edison, we don't tell them that they have the wrong number. We transfer them to 1-800-477-4747. So she came out of that meeting. She said, Barb, all they needed was some pink high heels and pink earrings, because those were little Barbs walking around. She said, I'm going to go to my boss and I'm going to see if I can give you that position, because you're doing exactly what I want you to do, and that's, train the people in which the way that they should go, give them the knowledge that they need, because knowledge is power. So if you have the knowledge, if you learn your job, learn it to the very best of your ability, and not
Yes.
wait for people to show you how. You have to go out on your own and use your resources and different things that are, made available to you,
So one of the keys to moving up is not just to do the minimum,
Exactly.
but to go out and stretch yourself. Would you say that communication is important?
Communication is key. It is very important, and I'm still finding that out today, because, I work at home, and my team are in those different states that I told you about. So it's very important that I'm able to lead a team of people who, as a matter of fact, the young lady that works for me in Alabama, I just met her last Wednesday. But it was like we were old friends, and she just started working for me on the 1st of October. So I touch my team every day with little positive, sayings, and they know my favorite saying is make it do what it do, okay? So I'm telling my team, I don't care what you come up against, take care of business, make it do what it do. I got that from Ray Charles, the Ray Charles movie.
And trust me, I know that because my sister can quote everything in that movie.
Yeah, so it's very important that you keep an open line of communication with your team. And I need to really practice that more because I need to communicate better with my boss. And because we just had an opportunity to meet each other not long ago. Mm-hmm. And so I'm guilty of not communicating with him, but doing a real good job at communicating with my team. So, you have to communicate up as well as you communicate down.
Certainly. A lot of people who actually have these jobs or have a job, period, mm-hmm. I find that one of their major flaws is the fact that they don't communicate well, and not just making communication or talking to someone, but mm-hmm. the language that they use is not a professional language. It's like, I'm talking to my girlfriend, and and that's not how you conduct business. And I think that it's important mm-hmm. that, especially women, because you're already down a strike.
Yes.
Yes. You're down another if you're a minority woman.
Yes.
So if you're in business and you're talking to someone, you can't be like you're talking to your girlfriend on the telephone.
Street. That's true.
It has to be something different. So how do you do that? How do you accomplish that?
Well, you have to always be professional because, the only thing that makes me different or, AT&T is the way you treat people, okay? Mm-hmm. And so I operate out of love, you understand, and I always try to, respect everybody, whoever I'm talking to. If I get an irate customer, and mm-hmm. that's just one of my really, I think my strong point. I have a customer, and they're irate, and they're calling me, well, number one, and they're saying you people or this or that. I can't take it personal, number one, because they're not really mad at me, Mm-hmm. So, I will just ask, can I please have an opportunity to make the situation right for you? Well, I've talked to 5, 6, 7 people before you, and I say, yes, sir, and I understand that, but you haven't spoke to Barbara Dean Franklin. So just, allow me the opportunity. Usually that, takes care of them. So people want to be respected. People want to know that, a lot of times they don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care. So Certainly. You have to treat people, number one, the way you want to be treated. Mm-hmm. We've all been in department stores or someplace, and we look at people who don't address us immediately when we come into a place of business, or they're on the phone talking personal when you're standing mm-hmm. there waiting to be waited on. So you have to always remember that I want to be different. I want to be known and remembered for something. And if I give good customer service, people are going to remember me. So that's what I do, and I always strive to tell my team, anybody that has reported to me, and the people who used to report to me, they cue me, we still connect with each other mm-hmm. because my role as a manager, it was not just to help them at AT&T, but it was also to enhance their lives outside of AT&T. The things that I teach, you can work it at AT&T and it's great for you, but if you use it outside in your personal lives, it will help you achieve greatness out there as well.
That is very important, not only for you to know, but mm-hmm. to impart to someone else. It seems to be a simple thing, an everyday thing. Treat an individual how you want to be treated, mm-hmm. yet it's also something that is, quickly forgotten when you're in the heat of the moment.
Yes.
Professionally, and I like what you say, you can't take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
I've dealt in situations where we're going to have a scholarly discussion on a certain faith.
Right.
And when it doesn't go that individual's way, well, then they're completely irate. They're ready to beat the tar out of you. Mm-hmm. And you're thinking, but I thought we were going to do this intellectually.
Right.
You can't let the heat of the moment or your disagreement with what's being said interfere with how you communicate, because the minute you do,
yes.
you shut down everyone.
Yes, you do. I didn't just get this way. It took some time, mm-hmm. Naturally, when I was 19 and I started with the company, I did not feel that way. Mm-hmm. It's a learned habit. You know, it is something that
Right.
I walk in now, you know, that I watched the women who, you know, were there with me. I watched the things that they did, you know, and it was a lot of hard knocks, some suspensions, you know.
Okay.
Okay, there
It
was some,
happens.
exactly, there were some things that I had to go
Sure.
through. So that's why I try now to help everybody that I can. I want to save you, prevent you from going through the things that I went through as I came up in the company, because times are a lot different, you know, today
Definitely,
than they
definitely.
were then. And it's so hard, you know, being a black woman, you know, in the position that I'm in, you know, you don't see too many people trying to help people rise up, you know. It's
Certainly.
always somebody's got their foot on your neck and it's a hard time, you know. But again, I say, you know, I was reading an article and they talk about tough love. Well, I've learned how to love tough, you know, and that's what he said in that article, that you have to put love first, you know, and still teach people in the way that they need to go, but you must do it in love, you know, and that's, there are a lot of things that I've done and a lot of things that I don't get right, but that one thing that I know,
That part you get right.
that love part, you know, love thy neighbors as thyself and loving people, you know. Even sometimes I have to say, Lord, are you talking about Sheila and Lloyd next door? You know, but I get
Yeah,
it.
you you've got it right.
Yes, I get it.
Yeah, I think we all get to that point where I love my neighbor,
Right.
but that guy down the street there, not so
Exactly.
much him. He's
I love my
yeah,
neighbors. I do. I get it. You know, I'm grateful to God because somebody loved me when I was
yes.
unlovable, and so anything that I can do, you know, I'm a servant. That's what I do. God has used me. That's my calling. I know that's my passion. I have a help ministry, a giving ministry, you know, and I don't meet any strangers anywhere I go. So I'm grateful.
And I like that. I really do like that. And a lot of us confuse our jobs. And I want people, especially women, to understand that just because you're not working inside the church doesn't mean that your career is not your ministry.
Yes. Yes.
You are ministering to someone in some manner, and that has to be done under the guidance of the Holy Spirit.
Most definitely.
How do you find your faith working in your career?
Only by the grace of God, if I may, you know, because like I said, I was 19 when I started with the company. So I've been through so many things in my life. And on December the 23rd of 1994, God delivered me from a crack addiction. I was addicted to crack from 87 to 94. And I, you know, tried all the best rehab centers or whatever. And he delivered me on my living room floor, you know. So I had to learn to trust God. You know, it's not about the religion part, but the relationship that I have with Him, you know. And I see the way that He uses me, even in promoting me to that level. It was always, it's not about you, it's about the people, you know. So my faith, you know, when you know, so naturally on the job, you know, maybe I can't stand up and preach, but I could say things like everything done in dark will come to light. You know, the people who are under me, they know that I'm a woman of faith. And so we, you know, they call me for those one-on-one conversations. You know, I've been to the hospitals with my people when their parents were passing, and, you know, I've held their hand and I prayed with them and we started Bible study. So everything I do, God goes before me. You know, it's not me, myself. I'm only here by the grace of God. I mean,
Sure.
sitting with you, you know, it's only by the grace of God. So everything I do is to God be the glory. You know, everything that I do, it is to God be the glory. I've learned that after many years and, you know, hard knocks and a whole lot of different things and trials and tribulations that I've gone through. But I owe it all to the Lord. You know, He's just blessed me so. I'm just so grateful. I'm just grateful because I don't have to be here. You know, I remember that day, December the 23rd of 1994, when I wanted to take my life, you understand, and I had two first cousins who committed suicide. So I thought about it all in my head about what I was going to do, how I was going to do it. But God showed up and told me, no, you have a ministry for abused women and children. You know, there's some work for you to be done. You know, I didn't see it then, but,
Sure.
you know, from glory to glory to glory, He's showing me every day.
And I do want to talk about your ministry and what you're doing outside of your career. What I and because you already mentioned it, the fact that you were addicted to crack and you hold the position that you hold now, certainly that has been God's grace to you and certainly His mercy. When you were in the throes of your addiction, and I'm saying this because, ladies, I want you to realize that God can use you at whatever stage of life and bring you and elevate you to a position that maybe you don't see. And that's my question to you. At that time, you're in the addiction. Did you even envision the possibility of what He has done in your life?
Never, ever could I have imagined all the things that He has done for me. But I do know one thing, that in the midst of my addiction, I was praying, Lord, please help me. You know, I knew that in my heart I journaled, you understand, and I would ask Him, please let me be the woman I am in my heart. You know, I'm a good mother. You know, I'm educated. You know, I have a great paying position. These are the things that I wrote that I was able to go back and look at one day and say, wow, you know, look at God. You know, no, I mean, I've always loved the Lord. You know, so many things, sexually abused as a young girl, always told you're not going to be anything, you know, you're going to be just like your daddy. Didn't know who my dad was, or didn't have a, you know,
Clear point of
clear,
reference.
or idea of, you know, what that meant. But God kept me, and you know, I can remember as a little girl sitting on the porch, you know, from one day being abused, and just looking up at the sky and praying to God with my dog King, you know, saying, you know, Lord, I'm bad, you know, because this happened to me. So not knowing, but always trusting God. You know, my aunties or my uncle, you know, would take me to church. You know, I saw them praying over candles. You know, so I emulated my uncle. He wasn't really my uncle. He's an older cousin, but he taught me how to pray over my food, say grace. And then I would ask, well, you know, Uncle Herman, how come I don't hear you praying at night when you're on your knees? You know, he would tell me the difference. And so I would just, you know, just started to pray and trust God. But I did, you know, God was in heaven, you know, He wasn't with me, you understand?
Sure.
But then when I started to get that relationship and just know, you know, I'm not perfect. You know, I'm not sitting here professing to be perfect, but I know that I know that I know that I know today that God, if God be for you, you know, no matter what you do, you know, He has something for me. He's given me a ministry, a vision. Everything that I have been through is in God's plan. You understand? So I'm
Yeah, I
trusting
do
Him.
understand.
Okay.
I understand completely. And I think what you have to say is so vital and so important because none of us start off this. We all have things that we've gone through to get us to the place we are. And one of the things that I want everyone to understand is that God knew exactly where you were going to be.
Yes.
And He still met you there. He knows us so intimately. And let's face it, most of us would have been beyond lovable.
Oh, most definitely.
At certain points in our lives, we're just not the kind of people that you want to be associated with.
Most definitely.
And yet there was God. Anyway,
Yes.
when He could have let us go,
Yes.
He saved us from our own foolishness.
Thank you.
You do have, besides your job, another ministry, Women Empowered Crossing Paths. And
Right.
not CROSSING, but cross and then the letter N.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. You know, well, I told you that, you know, I was delivered in 94. In 94, God closed the center that I was working in, moved me to Okemos, Michigan. At that time, I was in a relationship, you know, really wasn't working for me. I'd never been alone, you understand? Told you I was sexually abused, so naturally, as a young girl, you know, I equated sex with love, you know, so I just wanted to be
Sure.
loved by somebody, looking for love in all the wrong places. And so He moved me to Okemos, Michigan, and there I became a domestic violence advocate working with the Lansing Police Department. And I was there until 1998. He closed that center down and moved me back here. But I noticed that when I came home, my girlfriends and I would be sitting at the table, and one young lady would be telling me something about what she was going through. And because my house was where people always gathered, you understand? And then she would leave, and somebody else would come by, and they were kind of going through the same thing or something else similar. And I'm thinking, wow, if we could get a network of women to uplift, encourage, and inspire each other, real women, not backstabbing, not playing any games. I'm talking about real women that are ready, women who have overcome, that are ready to help women come over, you understand, or young girls or
Yes.
people who have gone through some things. So I was really excited about that. So in 2010, and this is just, propelling forward, is that I asked 10 women, 10 of my friends, I just sent out, an email. I'm looking for 10 good women to start this plan with me. It's a 3-year plan. The first year, we're all going to put in $100 a month. The first year, we're going to pay each other. So every month, one person received $1,000. That's your get out of jail free card, your emergency money, or whatever. The second and the third year, we're going to put the money up, okay? Because whenever we write this plan and our vision becomes a reality, and we need to go to a bank for financing, or we need to do some things, people see that we're serious. We have
Yes.
means of, So that first year, everybody got their $1,000. And what's so awesome about this is there's a young lady, Michelle Sanders, my friend. She works with me for AT&T, and she lives in Texas. I've never seen her a day in my life, but every month her check comes to me. So it tells me that, she knows that I have integrity and character, that she trusts me with her money. And that's something that we need more of today. People that are standing in integrity, that do what they say and, say what they mean. And so right now we're down to 6 women. We don't have the same 10, but, we have a lot of help. And so I'm going over to a lot of different organizations and, just trying to really figure out how to, because we want to be different. We want to make an impact in somebody's life. I don't want to have a conference and invite people there and we all sit around and eat and just do that. I really want to do some work. I really want to make a difference in somebody's life. And I've done that, with, I have a young man, he was homeless, and he was a great artist,
All
and
right.
just kind of saw him on the street. Somebody I worked with say, "Hey, Barb, come and look at this guy. He's great." I put a lot of time into him. And last I heard that he was working for the city of Detroit as an intake specialist, helping people who were kind of like him, And so, I help people. That's what I do. I want to help people. I want to help some young girl who was like me as I came up, who was just wanted to be loved, but didn't know how to get there, I want to encourage them, to know that just because your life is like this today, if you just continue to try to do right, even in the midst of some things going wrong, have a right heart. And God will make a way for you, and He always will, And I just, I'm looking for like some woman to mentor these young girls, because you read where they're finding young ladies' bodies in the trunk, but they're being burned up. They're
Yes.
going on to the the wrong side. And if you just love yourself first, and that's where the power comes from. It comes from within, not without. We're looking for somebody to love us outwardly. When that love comes inwardly, we've got to love ourselves first, And it's so easy to say and sometimes hard to do, but yet it's so easy, really, it's simple. I see that now, at 55. I didn't see that back then,
Of course not.
Yeah.
These individuals that you call your customers, can you just look at someone and recognize the signs of their abuse? Can you recognize abuse when you see it? Even if they don't say that they're abused, do you recognize the abuse?
Well, when I talk about the young man, the homeless guy that I had, he looked good, he drew, he was art, But one day I said to him, what is your addiction? Because I know he was addicted to something. I could tell he was very well versed. He was homeless, but you didn't know because you couldn't look at him. He was shooting up where he was shooting or what he was doing. But I did know that there are people that I have worked with that I've gone to the courts with to file domestic charges against, their significant other. Yeah, spirit. Yeah, you do know. You definitely. I'm attracted to people who kind of need help. I have a young lady that used to work for me. She told me that I should be required, and her name is Bernadette. I should be required to move my position like every couple of years because I touch people in a way. I give so much of myself. I pour out every day to
Okay.
individuals, trying to help them. Just giving them the love that God has given me. And just letting them know. I think that's what makes me a great leader, and I can say that because I lead in love, and I'm serious and I'm for real. I don't play in the game, try to pull no punches. It's no big. I don't have a title. You understand? Because I'm a servant. Whatever my team does, I'm right in there with them. If they have to get in the mud, I'm right there with them getting dirty. If they need somebody to fight, I take my earrings off. Let's do it. This is how we do it. So.
A little Three Musketeer action going on there.
Exactly.
All for one.
Yes, and
One
one
for
for all.
all.
That's how. I mean, that's just the way you've got to be real with people. And again, like I said, people don't care how much you know; they want to know how much you care about them. And so, my team, I give them everything that they need because I equip them with the knowledge. I have it. See, there's one thing about me when I work. I can call somebody and say, "I need this done." And they're going to do it. You understand? Because they know if they call me, they can get it done. Somebody else may call that same person. They say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I can't do that for you. But I tell people, my name is like E.F. Hutton. When Barbara Dean Franklin called, it's just like they like they're so happy to help me. And I'm
I
grateful
love
for
it.
that because I do everything in love. How are you? I truly appreciate your assistance. Thank you so much for assisting me. You are the best. That's what you do, and that's how you get things done.
I want to look at some of the things that you or your organization gives, the basic life skills, you call them instructions in the area of problem solving, decision making, tools for coping with life stressors, organization, job search, and mentoring. I want to, and even though you have them listed in the order that I named, I want to look at tools for coping with life stressors.
Okay.
What would you call a stress in life?
Oh, it could be a person not getting along with your parent. You understand? Not submitting to authority. And let me tell you about that website. That's the vision. These are things
Yes.
I've helped. We help people. But these are the things that we're looking to do when we get everything organized and together.
Understandable.
But life stressors. Again. I have two daughters. One is 38,
That's
one is
stress.
26. Okay, my baby girl, I call her my diamond in the rough. You understand? So
Okay.
there are so many things that that I'm trying to instill in her. Like peer pressure. That's a stressor for the young girls that are out here today. The stretch pants,
Sure.
the half top. Her Bishop talking the eyelashes. What do you look like after all of that? When you approach somebody, what are they really looking for? So a stressor too is no self-esteem. Not being sure of yourself, thinking that you have to do things to make people like you. When if you like yourself, then people are going to like you. So we have, like I said, the 6 people, we're all from different walks, So what I try to do is if I have people come to me, then I do research. That's what I pair them up with someplace or, try and give them help. I have a Facebook ministry. I have a text message ministry. A young lady texted me. She came to me on Facebook last night telling me thank you for, being there for her. One day she was on Facebook. She said she was looking for a church. I said, you should come and go to church with me. I didn't know her. She said, well, let me know. I'll call you back. And at, 10:30, she said, okay, my children and I are going to come and go to church with you. So me and my family, we went and picked her up. We took her to church. We went to dinner. That started something because she said, you're not sure that people are real genuine or people are there. I took the time to speak life into somebody's life. At that time, she didn't have a job. She wasn't doing, now she has 2 jobs. You understand?
Oh,
But
my.
it was just, I took just a little bit of time out of my day, you understand, to give somebody some hope, to let them, just to love on them,
Oh,
just love on them. So,
Of course, we have a little sound going on
okay,
there
that's
in the
okay.
background, a little fun time there, but we're going to
Okay.
continue right on.
Yes.
And you mentioned the fact of self-confidence, and that's such an attractive quality in anyone. A lot of
Yes.
people find, or a lot of women especially find or believe that they don't have any friends, or the friends that they do have are extremely bad influence on them. And a lot of times they don't think they can do any better.
Right.
That's
Right.
just what I'm stuck with. That's the way that it has always been.
Right.
A lack of self-confidence. How do you help instill confidence in someone?
Well, because the first thing I say that you have to kind of love yourself, and what people have to know. I'm just going to use my daughter, my baby girl, and I love my child. I love her, and she is a leader,
Okay.
but she does not know that yet. Okay,
Ah.
so a lot of times she was following, you understand? People are attracted to her. And if she would just look and see what God has given her, she can influence so many other people. So you have to love people where they are.
Sure.
Now, for a young lady who is thinking that she's stuck with her friends, that she can't do any better, they need to spend some time alone. you know and
Good point. Very
yeah,
good.
they need to spend some time alone, because I used to be there, but God has taken me and put me in a place where I love being with me. I used to didn't like me. And people always say, "Oh, girl, you're so strong, you got it going on." And I had to fake it till I make it. But now I'm confident in who I am, all of me. You understand? I'm not trying
Yes.
to lose weight for nobody. I'm not trying to do anything that I'm doing. I'm doing it to the glory of God and Barbara. You understand? So that young lady who has no self-esteem, but usually I try to find out why. It's always another reason. For my sexual abuse, for the things that you do, why are you doing those things? What are you lacking? So, anybody that's going through anything that I deal with, I keep asking questions. I keep asking questions because I really want to get to the root of whatever that problem is, so I can really help you.
And that is key. As you said, it's never that outward sign, but there's something that has caused that triggered
Exactly.
that kind of unbelief in yourself. There's
Yes.
something that's deep inside. So you do have to look. Just
Deeper.
take that little extra time to look for that little depth in individuals.
Yes.
Generally speaking, we know surface people. We only know them on top of what they have revealed to us. And most of us don't take any time to go any deeper.
Right.
And that includes in the ministry as well, because that's what they've told us. Okay.
Okay.
But that's never enough. And if we're really going to be that good neighbor, then yes, we do have to take it that next step and actually find out what makes that person tick. There isn't anyone that comes into counseling with me that I'm not interested in finding out not just why you're here, because you can tell me why you're here,
Exactly.
but I want to know exactly what made you need this help in the beginning.
Right.
And that's something that we can do as individuals with whomever we meet. So I can see where you're coming from. As you said, this is things that you're looking forward to doing.
Right.
And as any business person knows, you have to have that prospectus, you have to have that business plan
Right.
in order to succeed. How do you apply that to your life?
My business plan or the things that's going on.
To your own life.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, every morning between 6 and 7 every day, I have 2 prayer partners, Dr.
Okay.
Salisbury and Zoe Karen Sagey. We get up every morning giving God the first fruits of our lips, praying, trusting God. Because, I love the Lord, but I'm human. So there are days, that I get that little chatter in my ear. You ain't doing nothing, nobody.
Oh, of course.
What's going on with you? So every day I walk the talk. Now I'm at home because I work, at home in an office. So I'm not surrounded by people, you understand? But I'm on the computer and I'm dealing with people. But in everything that I do, I make myself available to my neighbors, to the neighborhood. I'm out there in the community trying to do work. I'm going to different organizations trying to see I'm everywhere trying to do a little bit of everything because I know that the way God is moving right now, everybody is strategically doing this, and this over here, but it's going to
Sure.
take all of us coming together. It's time for us to get creative, to make a change right now today with, emergency managers in Pontiac, the threat of one here, we have so many different organizations, so many great ideas, but we need to come a coming together of the minds with the churches as well, to make a difference. So every day, I look at women in power, encourage, uplift, inspire, motivate. I do this on a daily basis, and some days, if nothing else, I have a long mirror. I'm saying, Barbara, you all right? You're a great person. I have to encourage myself. There
Sure.
are some days that, I don't want to have a organization where I'm talking about uplifting, encouraging, inspiring, and I'm running my girlfriend down. I don't get into that. I'm looking for real women who are ready to help, real people with real issues and make a difference in the world. I'm looking for women that if we're working together, then you could tell like what's going on in that office because it's something about them. They're really doing something different because everybody is motivated. In my office in the Detroit Billing Center, there were days I tell people, okay, if you go to the fax machine, the only way you can move in this office today is that you have to dance. Okay, so there were days.
I would have loved seeing that.
There were days that people were actually getting up, doing their little dance, you have to have fun and you have to
Sure.
have love. Every email that I send out at the bottom of it, it says, who loves you? You understand? I love my people. I love people. God has blessed me with the capacity to love and to give. And my children are like, Mom, my sister, she has a running joke. Okay, who did you help today? So this is what I do, and until God tells me to do something different, this is what I'm going to continue to do because I know for a fact if there was somebody in my life to help me, and God did, and I can't say that, back then I would have been any different because God strategically planned my life for me already, and I just want to be a blessing to somebody else.
We are taught today that America and Americans are becoming increasingly isolated because of our little machines. We don't get out, we don't meet people, we don't really socialize anymore. The computer and other devices, DVDs
Right.
and all that have changed the dynamics of our society to such a point that we're becoming an isolated nation in the sense that we don't communicate with anyone anymore.
Right.
It seems as if you're changing all that. I mean, you're working at home, but here you are touching everyone's lives.
Yeah.
How do you manage to do that?
Okay, only by the grace of God. Like I said, I use Facebook as a ministry. You understand?
All right.
So it's every morning. If I get the word from Joel, if I get it from Keith Butler or Bill and Marsha, they have a spirit of prophecy. That word touches me, and I share it with somebody. There are days when people say, what happened to my text message? I didn't get it, so I'm sending out the word
Okay.
to people, I use that as a networking opportunity to reach people. You just don't know the people that are out there hurting. They just want to know somebody cares about them. They're sitting at home. They are isolated because they feel so left out, like nobody cares about them. So when I send out anything, I'm trying again. When you go to my site, it says to uplift, to encourage, to inspire. Because when you stand together, we're like a cord intertwined. You know how when we were little kids, we used to play that Red Rover, send
Sure.
Barbara on over, and I could go and push your arm and, push past you. But if I hook up with you and I hook up with somebody else and our arms are locked tight, we're lockstep with each other, it's hard to knock me down when I have somebody to stand with. So when I tell people, hey, call me, I'm available to you 24/7. Call me at 3 o'clock in the morning if you need me. That's what I want to do. When I was a domestic violence advocate, I carried a pager. If the Lansing Police Department got a domestic call, they paged me. If it was 2, 3, whatever time in the morning, I got up, I went to either the house, the hospital, or the police station to meet the person where they were. Because a lot of times people are not going to come to you and tell you, you've
course
got to
not.
meet
Of
them
course.
where the need is, So this is what I do. And it's not, if it was me, I probably could sit at home and do nothing. But I know for a fact that God has a call on my life, that he has impacted my life, that I may be a blessing to somebody else. And so, it's just, this is just real talk. I blog, and I want to have conversation with people. I want people to talk. Tell me what's going on in your life. Because, the things that I have been through, I can share some things with people to hopefully help you not go through what I went through. They always say, well, Mom, let me just live my own life, but if I can help you, and living that life better, then please let me help you. I don't mind being used. I never like being misused, you understand? So if people need me, then they come to me. But, there are people that out there that have, kind of misused me as well. Nothing good happens to those, because touch.
You can't really concern yourself about that. You just go ahead and continue to do what God has given you to do.
Exactly.
I love the fact that you didn't wait for a ministry to come to you. You took the bull by the horns and said, hey, this is something that I have a passion for.
Yes.
And it's very clear that you have a passion for helping individuals. And I think this is something that women can use in general, that they find that thing that they're passionate about.
Yes.
And not feel that, well, just because I'm passionate about it doesn't mean anyone else is.
Right.
There's always someone who's going through something. And they could kind of use someone to talk to.
Yes.
Someone who isn't looking just to get them saved.
Exactly.
But someone who cares about that individual.
Right. I am trying to find the hopeless and give them hope. You understand? Yeah, I'm not trying to save folks. I'm not, again, I love the Lord, but, the ministry that I have is, it's so simple, because I'd rather die believing that there's a God in heaven than,
Sure.
than there's not. So I choose to say that God has blessed me. I know for a fact he delivered me on my living room floor. I got the evidence of speaking in tongue. I know the Lord, you understand. As a matter of fact, I belong to a Greater Southern Baptist Church, and my pastor just called me last week, and so now I'm a deacon in training, you understand? So I know that God has a call on my life, but I just want to tell that person who's just going through that there are real people who have real love, that really care about you, and the only way that you can do that is that you have to believe in something greater than yourself.
Sure.
I know for a fact if it was just me, I could probably do a lot of different things, but the call that is on my life, I have a mandate to love people. And I'm a willing vessel, and I'm here, and I'm always asking God to use me, so, there's no, okay, well, you could use me over here, but you can't use me over there, He said, if if you want to be used by me, you have to be bothered with my people, And so I'm excited about what he's doing, to and through me, you understand? So
It's God's work, God's way, God's time.
most definitely.
I don't know. Is there something that you feel that women in particular can be doing to improve? It's not a question of knowing what your ministry is so much as doing something. Is there something that women can do to improve their own calling or even find their own calling by doing something? What would you recommend for them to start?
And I mean, as you're talking to me, what I'm getting is that what women must do first is love themselves. There are too many women that are, again, looking for outwardly love, looking for that man, looking for that car, this. I mean, real love. And again, when I say that God had put me, alone and by myself, you understand? I mean, totally put me in a place where I had to learn who I was. And I had to learn to love myself if nobody ever called me, if nobody came around me. So and until I got confident, until I knew what real love really was, there was nothing. I was afraid. I was just like in the shell. I wanted to do this a long time ago, but I couldn't do it, because I was not confident enough in who I am, So for that woman who really wants to do, if you have a passion, if it's sewing, skating, or, whatever it is, do it afraid. Just do it. Just do it and let God use you or just be used for the good of somebody else, not just about yourself, because that's how, this all came. It wasn't about me. It was about somebody else needed some help. I saw that. I used to, when I was at work and I had a Bible on my desk and I wanted to read the book of Ruth and it kept going to Esther, and I didn't understand, why you keep.
How long did it take you before you caught on?
It took me a minute, but I heard God say, it's not about you, and it's not about me. If I could share a story, I remember when I was living in Okemos, I had this friend, his name is Gerald. He would come, we worked together, and we would go, he would come over. He lived in Saginaw, I lived in Okemos. So, but some nights he would spend the night at the house. He had his own room, several bathrooms. But people used to say, Pony like you, that's your boyfriend or whatever. And I'm like, we don't like each other like that.
That's my friend.
Okay, exactly. But and then he would come and sit at my desk and we would share the word of God. But he was getting on my nerve and I shared a story with him. And then one day we went to church together and he got up and gave his life to the Lord. And God spoke to me clearly and said, see, it wasn't about you. And I was like, okay, Lord, I get it. And then God came back and said, you ain't all that. I was like, I had you at. I had you at it. What about me? So, I definitely have gotten it that this is not, it's not about me. It's about the call that God has on my life. When he tells me to love people and do and get, I'm doing what I really wish somebody would have done to me a long time ago. You understand? So I have to do this. Yeah, this is what I do.
And that's an interesting thing, but because a pastor can tell a person, a congregation, find out what your gift from God is. Doesn't really mean much. They've heard it so often until it goes,
right.
Doesn't register.
Right.
Obviously, you found out what your gift is, what your calling is. How?
It was just listening because I've always wanted somebody to love me. And in the beginning, when I wanted somebody to love me, it was that I needed to be needed. I had to learn what real love was again. And, everything that I have been through, everything that I saw God bring me to and bring me through, it just grew on me. When I had the center and people didn't like me or, they were trying to come up against me, I continued to do it in love, continue to do it in love, continue to do it. It's just consistent. You have to be consistent. You just have to be consistent in what it is that you're doing, So I found out who I was. It took me, relationships, a lot of things, but I had to learn to love Barbara Dean Franklin. And that was something that it just came to me. It wasn't anything that I picked up a book or read or did anything, It came to me. I've learned by doing, by watching, by treating people right, by trusting in the Lord, by wanting good things to happen to me, even when I didn't feel like I deserved those things. I've always been a woman of character, even in the midst of doing wrong, getting high, doing whatever, I tried to be a good person, So when you do good things eventually come to you, I'm sitting in my good thing right now.
I love the fact that you didn't just sit down and do nothing. You continued to pray, you continued to look, you continued, most importantly, is to expect.
Yes.
And even though I've said it, now that you've said it, maybe women can actually listen and understand that it's not about you, and it is about you listening, expecting, and keep doing something. The best way to find out God's will in your life is to do something. Show him that you're interested. And it's not like he doesn't know, but he needs you to know and needs you to understand that he's going to fulfill it. You just need to keep doing.
Yes.
So that's a wonderful thing to find out. You had a plan.
Yes.
Your plan began with?
My plan began with my deliverance, with God saying to me, you have a Ministry for Abused Women and Children. And so, when I went to, Okemos, I, did the domestic violence. I came back. I didn't give up on it. Then, sitting across, listening to my girlfriends going through things. And then I said, okay, let me find some women that are like-minded, somebody that will buy into my vision, and let's do this 3-year plan. Let's work together. Let's see how we can make an impact in somebody else's life. Let's, we think we have ourselves together enough that we can help somebody else. So again, I was looking for women who have overcome something to help some young women come over. It's time for us to come together, to not just think about ourselves, to be selfish in our careers and do, what it is that we're doing, but it is time for us to spread the love, to share the wealth, to help, because these young women today are who we're going to be leaving this world to. So we have to give them the confidence that they need, equip them with self-esteem, show them how to be real women. So they are looking at us. We can't be backstabbing with each other. We've got to be real. They've got to look at us and be encouraged that, okay, one day this can happen for me. Oh, she was on crack. Oh, well, if she can go through that and still survive, then,
Yes.
there's a place for me in this thing called life. You understand? Yeah.
I do. One of the things, or one of the biggest knocks on women, I don't want to join a women's group because they're backstabbing, they're catty, and
Right.
your organization seeks to get rid of that.
Exactly. My vision for my very first conference, because I do want to have a conference, but this conference I will make sure everybody has sunglasses. And when you put the sunglasses on, you're invisible. Got that from Big Daddy. But I'm figuring if you're invisible, nobody is judging you, nobody can see you. Get up and say what's on your heart.
Yes.
Get up and say what's on your heart. You're invisible. We're all invisible in here. So that's one thing that, I just really want to reach somebody, because I've been through some things in my life, for me to be able to sit here and speak to you, please, if I told the whole story, you understand, my telephone probably would ring off the hook. That's what I wanted to do. I want somebody to call me that is going through something so I can help you understand how to get through it. You understand? I
do.
want to, I keep saying that, and I know
No,
that
no,
you
no.
do.
You're not bothering me. I just want you to know that I agree
Okay.
and I get what
Yes,
you're saying.
yes, yes.
That's fine.
Yeah, I do.
I want to give people, women, men, whatever, the opportunity to contact you. How can they do that?
Well, the website, there is a link on the website that says contact us. If you put in your contact information, I automatically get an email. Then I
right.
will, reply to them, and that's www.womenempowered, EMPOWERED, cross, CROSS, and the a letter, paths, PATHS.com.
All right. We want you to remember that address so that you can contact
Please.
her and get the help that you need. You may be thinking that no one does care. You may be thinking, I don't want to go through a state organization. I don't want my business out for everyone. Well, here's a woman who understands, who has been there, and who's giving you a way to get the help that you need, or just to talk
Yes.
and to have someone say, I care, I understand, and not only say it, but mean it, and to
Amen.
give you some help in that. Thank you so much for being with me today. I really do appreciate it. It's been a great time with you,
Thank
and
you.
I hope that you're going to keep in touch and
Most
let us
certainly.
know what's going on here at WING TV, and
Yes, ma'am.
we'll have you back.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Praise God.
To all of you who have joined us today on today's Christian Woman, we invite you to join us again and to keep in touch with us. Visit the website, wigntv.net. Drop us a line. Let us know what you think about the shows, not just today's Christian Women, but the others that are on as well. Let us know what you think and what you would like us to do. Until we meet again, may God bless you and keep living saved.